find the game. Any day now. There we go, found it. Hello, right. Hello, welcome to Kerbal Space Program Hard Science Mode, Part 40, which I've titled the Moho landing, because I think we're going to be able to attempt a landing on Moho today, at last. Because we've got everything in orbit around Moho, so we just need to do some, like, a couple of orbital changes. The plan is to do the docking of the lander first and get that sorted out, and then deal with other docking and stuff afterwards. So hopefully we can actually get the we can at least do the hopefully land on Moho if I don't screw it up. But without further ado, let's get right into it. This is Science 1, 55 flights in progress. Another 3,000 science, because yeah, we've just been doing science lab transmissions this entire time. So yeah, we'll head straight for the tracking station. Yeah, we do have a couple of science labs that are beyond transmission, so we'll do those first. Why not? Get those out of the way, then straight to Moho. Cool, right, so it's still in orbit around Juno. Again, it's just, why does it never actually quite get to 500? Like, no matter how long you leave it outside, like if you're not actually on the vessel when it happens, you never get the 500. So the old transmit. Let that go. We can close this. Actually, Icarus is where we want to go anyway, so. It's nearly done. See what we can fit in there. That's too big. Ooh, that just fits. Stick that in there then, and then. Cool, so this should now have, yep, 749 out of 750, which is about as good as we can do. So let's add the next science lab alarm again, 29 days away. And we shall leave these guys to do their science. And we shall jump straight to the Icarus, and I'll get an airful of nuclear engines starting up. Right, cool. Let's delete this, and we don't have anything else. We got 13 days before the Eve transfer window, so hopefully this isn't going to take too long. Although having said that, we are on some quite long orbits at the moment. Yeah, we've got like a 5-day orbital period, so it's possible that we might have the we might have to maybe miss the Eve transfer window, because I don't want to take time like doing the Eve stuff now. I'd rather get Moho done, and then we'll do like the next Eve transfer window if we miss this one. Because again, we've got like 3 missions out around planets at the moment, so I'm not feeling too pressurized to do something going to Eve. But anyway, first off, this thing 498.6. Yeah, 9. We're still at 499. Okay, science full. Transmit that science. While we're doing that, I'm just keeping an eye on this thing, because like, the next thing is 12 days away, then yeah, it's just science labs after that point. I feel like I should probably have not have science labs interfere with stuff. Just as a matter of principle. Like we want to know when they've elapsed, but we don't want them to be messing around with we don't want to be messing around with our warps. Cool. So we've done that transmission. But we do have some data left in here, and we do have some space in here. So let's see if we can't put some more data in there. That's too much. 655 will fit, so multiple that in. And I don't think anything else is going to fit. Cool. So that's got sim 41, which is not too bad. Again, we'll add this one, but we want to do this and this because we just want to know when it's going to take over. We don't necessarily want the game to be interrupted because of it. Because again, like even when these go off, there's still like you still have to time warp a bit to get it completely full. But yeah, so yeah, it's time to do things. Let's hit the map screen. Yeah, because essentially, because some of these orbits are very long, like it's probably going to take us a while to actually get them. In terms of in-game time. I forgot you get a crew manifest. Yeah, it takes again we've got like a 5-day orbital period at the moment. So it's possible we're probably going to be either cutting it very close to that curb interweave transfer window. But again, like if we manage to get within a few days of it, in-game time doesn't elapse when we're designing ships, so we should have time to we can basically build something and launch it and just send it straight off to Eve if we need to, because we're only going to send like the one thing, which is probably going to be ComNet and maybe a probe. Anyway, so lander 2 is the main thing. This is the fuel delivery, which we can deal with later. We want to switch to this for now because we want to get this into we want to get this into a nice low orbit so we can then like focus on getting ourselves to dock with it. And then worry about whether or not we can even transfer fuel. Because I mean, I'm a bit dubious as to whether or not we'll even be able to transfer fuel when we dock, because I imagine the same thing that's stopping us from transferring fuel from the bottom tank to the top tank and back is probably going to stop us from transferring any fuel from here to the thing. But the thing is that like at least this unit is equipped with its own docking thing, so we can at least use this to refuel the main ship, if not everything else. But anyway, so main thing we're going to do at the moment, the goal here is to get into the same essential orbit as this one, which is so I'm going to set our target for now, and our descending node. We're hitting our descending node next, so we'll do that. So yeah, that's going to be in 5 days. And this is our descending node, so we want to be going up in order to. There we go. I do feel like since our ascending node is around that side of the orbit, it would make sense to lower our apophysis, to lower our periapsis down first. So we do things in the order that we want to do them. So before we do this, we add maneuver apophysis, and then we focus on reducing our periapsis down. So this probably won't take a lot of delta V to do. What was the low orbit again? 20 kilometers. So let's say 25. It might take a couple of cool, so that's going to be our first thing. Will be to reduce our periapsis down to 25 kilometers. Then we focus on fixing our descending node, and then focus on reducing this down, which may take multiple burns, which means it might take it might well take us past the Eve transfer window. Again, I don't think we have anything. Yeah, we'll see if we get time. I mean, I'm kind of hoping we can do this landing, but if not, then it'll definitely be on Monday. So yeah, let's go and do this one first. Because like the actual like landing, it's like once you're in low orbit around Moho, it's probably like orbital period is going to be on the order of like minutes or like probably about an hour or so, as opposed to days at the moment. So this is a 5-second burn. Hello, Jaden Pellate. Where have we been so far? So far, we've been to Mun, Mimus. We've landed on Ike and Juna, and we currently have like tandem missions to Moho and Dres because the transfer windows were very close together. So we're currently focusing on Moho because the other stuff is on the way to Dres, but is going to be like getting there in a fair while because Dres is quite high orbit, so it doesn't like the Moho stuff takes a lot quicker. Takes a lot quicker. Yeah, I can words. Takes a lot less time because obviously it's a lower orbit, so you're going. So it's yeah less orbital period or shorter orbital period. But yeah, so at the moment so far in my entire Kerbal like experience, let's just do this burn quickly. In my entire Kerbal experience, I've only been to Ike and Juna. I haven't done any other planets yet. So Moho is the first first time either in this save or my career save that I've actually. This is the first time I've done this planet, so it's been a learning experience. There we go, 25.1 kilometers. That's fine. So yeah, that's done. Next job is to align orbits. So yeah, just set. Where are you at? So descending node is here. And yeah, this is way down. This big. 2, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1. I assume it's going to go back up to 2 in a second. I mean, like 0.1 is. I mean, we're not trying to dock with this lander. We're just trying to get onto a similar orbital plane to it. So, I mean, 0.1 degrees is probably fine. Yeah, it's fine. Never been to Jewel or Eve. I said my career mode. I've just in my career mode save, which I haven't played in a while. I have just sent my first sort of like expedition to Eve. But no, I haven't done Jewel yet. That's a whole other kettle of fish because I'm planning. I don't know when the Jewel transfer window is on this. I don't think I put an alarm in for it yet. But I'll be considering that. Like, I mean, it's possible. Like, I reckon we're probably going to end up missing this Kerbal to Eve transfer window because, like, basically, I kind of want to try and get the Moho landing done today, and I don't think I'll be able to get the Moho landing done before that transfer window. So it's a question of like, do I want to do that or do I want to like jump back to Kerbal Space Center, spend a fair chunk of a session building a basic comnet system to send to Eve, or I could just send a probe or something. I don't know. Or I can just leave it and then catch the next Eve transfer window with like a proper mission. Because yeah, at the moment we've got like 3 sets of Kerbals out and about. So I'd like to get at least one of them back before like planning another like manned mission. Anyway, 14-second burn. And then there'll be some probably, let's say if it takes multiple burns to lower the. Yeah, I've heard Eva's like the final boss of stock. I think Matt Lown referred to it as in like it's the hardest to take. It's the hardest to get back from. Like it's like aside from like if so long as you have enough heat shielding to not get burned up by the atmosphere, like assume you can get through the atmospheric like re-entry heating, like parachutes work a lot better on Eve than they do on Kerbin, so you can land relatively easily. But yeah, it's got higher gravity and a much thicker atmosphere, so like getting back into orbit requires like 8K or something according to the Delta V map, which we haven't consulted here for a while. But yeah, so I've never actually even considered trying to build something that could land and then take off from Eve. I guess you don't need to use any fuel while landing, so presumably like you build a thing that can take off, put like heat shielding and parachute structure around it, and then try and land it. Anyway, let's go down here, and then we'll start lowering this thing a little bit down. And we should see how much delta V it takes, because in theory, like it was about 2K delta V to capture, but it seems like once you've captured, like lowering your orbit's actually relatively cheap. So yeah. So after this, our Periapsis will raise a little, but not like ridiculously. I'm not actually sure we actually feasibly can dock with these things attached, so it might be a case of yeah, because I think these things. Actually, no, we might be able to, because of docking nose to nose. So I have a feeling it might be possible. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we can't actually transfer fuel from these to the mothership, because I think the engine plate acts as like a blocking thing, like it blocks fuel flow, or it blocks resource transfer. I guess if we can't feasibly dock, then we can at least transfer Kerbals via EVA. Ah, thank you for the follow, Jaden Pelate. Still got a fair bit of this burn to do. No, close enough. Cool, right, so we should hopefully be relatively aligned. Yeah, we're not actually trying to rendezvous with this thing, so we just want to line up our orbit so we can unset this as target now. Don't really care much about it. All we want to do now is lower our orbit. So the question is how much of a burn is it to reduce our orbit to circularize, roughly? Oh, that is more than circularizing. That is landing. We don't do that. We want Periapsis about. I mean, I could have used MechJeb to do this, but more fun this way, I think. So we want to go. Yeah, 25.9, 26.7. That is a 2-minute 24-second burn. That's not too ridiculous. Like, I have no idea what actual like angle to the what is the inclination of this orbit? 6 degrees. Yeah, I haven't figured out the easiest way of correcting an inclination to an actual planet's rotation. So unless there's a way in MechJeb to do that, but at the moment I'm just focusing on having things in the same orbit. I mean, 6 degrees isn't too bad. I mean, it's close enough to equatorial that we should be able to do inclination stuff after we've landed and launched. But anyway, so yes, we have 13 minutes to this. And I think we can do this in a single burn. 300 delta V. Not too shabby. I mean, we've got 2800 left in this thing, so probably end up using this nuclear stage to actually do our deorbit burn as well when the time comes. But we're going to park this thing in an orbit and then get the mothership to try and rendezvous with it. Which again will probably take it because the mothership's on quite a long orbit itself, so it's probably going to be out of phase for doing every stage of the rendezvous. But yeah, so let's time warp down. Let's keep an eye on the apoapsis and periapsis. because we don't want to overburn this too much, otherwise we'll deorbit. Ooh, whoa, wait, why did I hit that 3 times? I usually only hit it twice. Probably fizz warp it down. Do the last 30 seconds at normal speed. Now, also, like doing an orbital rendezvous with the big mothership is probably going to be fun, because I mean, like in theory, like the orbital speed should be relatively low, so I always underestimate how long it takes this thing to stop. I got 0. It's about as close as we're going to get, so we should hopefully be relatively circular now. Yes, 26.6 to 26.0. I'm happy with that. So we're now in a relatively circular orbit. We're just deciding that this is the plane that we're going to be working with. So the next thing is this, like the actual ship, which at the moment is on its way to Periapsis. So we want to essentially do a circular orbit, like a circular orbit slightly larger than the target orbit, and then we can do our rendezvous once we've circularized at that level. But yeah, so we'll leave this where it is. Switch to the Icarus, and again get an earload of nuclear engines. Right, so yeah, I love how this thing is like, you know, it's like poking out, and then like when we actually look at it, it just like hides, like it's been doing something it shouldn't be doing. Cool, right. So now we actually want to ultimately rendezvous this thing. Again, let's double check. Where are you? 7 days. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna. Yeah, I feel like I'm. What I'll do is I will stop this from killing warp. And if we miss it, we miss it. Because this is still a 5-day orbit. So, you know, by the time we get round, it's gonna have been like 4 days. So maybe we might be okay. Anyway, where's Moho Lander 1? We don't want that one because that doesn't have enough fuel for the job. We want to set Moho Lander 2 as target. See, we're nearly aligned. So what's our Periapsis at the moment? 50k. I think that's probably a decent Periapsis to like stay at. So I think the first thing to do is to get a maneuver here. Actually, we can probably use MechJeb for this. Yeah, let's use MechJeb to match planes. Maneuver planner. Match planes of target. The cheapest and dealing with the target. Isasakaria. I like KSP, but I don't like it because I like it. That's why I like it very much, but I like to play it because I like it, and I don't like it, or I don't like it. Okay? Well, you do you, man. Alright, match planes, create node. That's about what I was expecting. The advantage of this one is that MechJeb essentially keeps the other orbital parameters the same. So the periapsis will be the same. The periapsis will be the same distance, but it'll have been modified. Because otherwise, you're like, if you just do a pure normal burn, then you do like increase your orbital size because you're adding velocity. Whereas, and you can kind of like balance it with retrograde to try and keep the orbital parameters the same, but MechJeb just automatically figures that out. So again, I'll do the maneuver manually, but it's just a bit quicker. So yeah, so it's 4 days until the maneuver. We're pointing where we want to point. So the idea will be that we do the rendezvous, and then we basically leave this thing, and we have everything else rendezvous with this. I wrote these because it's whether I like it or not. I don't like it at all. It turned like this. Right. Yeah, let's at least be able to see what's going on. 1 second burn. I don't want to go around changing the thrust limiters of all 8 engines, so I'm just going to try and do this. Like eyeball it with lower thrust, lower throttle, basically. Yes, sir. Oh, actually, we had 0. So hopefully our orbital are, yeah, these engines are now nicely aligned. So again, we can see what MechJeb makes of the maneuver planet, which will be to circularize that next periapsis. Create the node, which is there. 1 minute 47 second burn, 289. That's fine. Again, we're not going to have it execute nodes, just having it compute nodes for us. And then we can figure out our which, yeah, it might take a few orbits to get the alignment right, but I'm sorry for being toxic. You're being a little bit nonsensical, but I wouldn't describe that as necessarily being toxic. Alright, I think we're pointing where we want to point. So there's a planet. Let's time warp down to our maneuver. I mean, we might be able to, like, I don't know how long it'll take to design the an EVE-COM net. I mean, having said that, we like maybe the maybe we can just if we still have the JunoCom net, maybe we can just send that because that's got 6 satellites in it, and there's even Gilly, so it's probably got enough fuel to get. We'll see if it's got enough fuel to get the job done. If not, then you know, no harm, no foul. Yeah, I might do that actually. We'll do this. We'll pop back to the space center, see if we still have the JunoComsat. Because I mean, we sent that with extra fuel, so hopefully it can do Eve as well, and we can decide the exact orbital parameters we need when we get there. Let's just quickly do a screening just in case. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when if this rendezvous is going to be happening before the transfer window, then we'll do it. If not, then we'll do it after. Oof. Yeah, it's not exactly the circular orbit we're hoping for, but it's probably close. It's not super far off circular. Right. We want to do rendezvous on the daylight side, I think. So we want to see if we can get a rendezvous here and see how many orbits it takes before we let's get the Periapsis down to 25. At least then we have and then we will start adding orbits until we do. Oh, that's quite close. So now intersect 1, intersect 2, see if either of these. So we're 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 0.4 kilometers, 28.4 meters per second intercept speed, and it's nicely just on the daylight side, and we have that in 2 hours 34 minutes. And then 2 hours 50 minutes we actually like achieve our rendezvous. So we might be able to do this. We might be able to like achieve this before our Kerbal D transfer window. Yeah, basically like I'm thinking if we get to the actual transfer window, then we just go back to Kerbal. We see if it's if the Juno comsat is there. If it is, then we launch one and see if we can get it to Eve. Alright, so 0.4 kilometers should be nice and easy. And then we'll see if we can actually dock with it, because yeah, there might not necessarily be like room, because there might be yeah. So, let's see what our rendezvous is like. 0.3 is even better. Cool. So we have our rendezvous coordinate. We have our rendezvous in 15 minutes. You are a unpronounceable term. Why that? I don't know. Why? I don't know. Why that sounds like something you have to search within to find the answer to. Cool. So 15 minutes away. So let's go to about. So our standard going to 5 minutes for that. So about 10 minutes away. Let's warp there. I should switch into target mode, and then it's just a case of we've so put ourselves retrograde. Again, I'm not entirely sure whether this thing will actually be able to dock without bumping into the nose cones. But yeah, we're 7 kilometers away and traveling not 70 meters per second relative, so we don't want to do this too fast, basically, because this is quite a big unwieldy ship, so it's going to take time to align and sort of adjust our trajectory. So we want to be coming in more slowly than the usual approach speed. I mean, so far, retrograde and anti-target seem to be aligned. But those will obviously drift as we get closer. They seem pretty well lined up, actually. Okay, you see the yeah, they're starting. I think they're starting to just about drift out of alignment now. You can see. So this is when we start using burns to push them back into alignment, so they keep traveling towards target. And if we switch to this, then we get to see our intersect distance, and that should hopefully go down as we adjust our velocity. Again, doing this with nuclear engines is going to be fun. Oh, yeah, it's just coming. Ah, that's why. Okay, it was yeah, it was loading this into physics range. So hopefully this isn't going to get crackened whilst we're approaching it. But I assume we're okay. I mean, it'd be a bit annoying if the kraken just blew it up as we're approaching. But yeah, these are the risks you take. Okay, yeah, we are going considerably faster than I want to. That's point retro and considerably kill our speed now, because we are, yeah. Again, nuclear engines, they're not super great at... Cool, we're now sub 10 meters per second, and we're approaching 1 kilometer. So hopefully we'll no, I said stability assist, not retrograde. So again, steering. Go. I said stability assist, we are traveling a little bit faster than I want to be, but again, doing this on nuclear engines is fun because they are not instant off and instant off. But we do want to be traveling a little bit slower than we are doing at the moment. A little bit over. But again, our velocity is roughly where we want it to be. Actually, these aren't too far out of alignment now. I think we can just coast the rest of the way now. We're nearly at 100 meters as it is, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we can dock with those nose cones attached. Close the inability to point directly retrograde, so there you go, that's 0. Right, so let's grab a screenshot of this before we do anything else, because never know what's going to happen. So we control from here, point at target, And then we see if these nose cones will actually give us clearance, because they might not, because we didn't test this. I suspect there might be an issue. We might be able to rotate it such that we... So let's switch to the other one. This one does not have a shielded docking port, because it doesn't need one. Control from here, and then we set this as our target. A little bit of time warp, just to point at target. So you allow an easy docking method. We switch back. Set the docking port specifically as our target. And then we hopefully just start closing the gap. This is going to require a little bit of, so we're going to have to adjust because we had a little bit of relative velocity before we started. So we're going to have to try and kill that, kill it so that we're actually traveling directly towards our target. Alright, point back at target. And then again we'll see if we can even dock with these, because that might not be an option. So I'm thinking maybe, because this is 2 symmetry, that's 4 symmetry, so maybe we can rotate this such that it such that we can actually just fit it in. Giggity. Cool. Point back at target. Maybe try and rotate it so that we have the best chance of slotting in the gap. Of course, this thing isn't really good at maintaining its I don't want to go any faster than 3. We might be okay. Or there might be a collision. Come on, just fit, just fit, just fit, just. Okay, we are docked, and we haven't exploded, I think. Oh, look at that, look at that. I mean, I think they probably would have collided if we hadn't rotated ourselves properly, but we are technically docked, and I have no idea if we'll actually be able to do the fuel transfer at the moment, but that is kind of the hope. And this thing is quite laggy. Let's just do a test at the moment. And no, you can only transfer electric charge. That is fine then. But in theory, presumably it will say we could transfer. At least I hope we can transfer fuel from like. Yeah, so we can transfer fuel, but we can't transfer fuel past these engine plates, basically. I think that's the thing. So. So there is a lot of fuel in this thing, but I want to use this fuel for deorbiting. Would be the plan. So at the moment, I'm thinking of just doing the. We don't think there's I don't think there's any engineering we need to do here, is there? No, I think we have everything we need in here. So I think they probably won't need their extended EVA packs for this trip. Because I don't think there's any space to put them in, and we can't afford to carry them. So we want one of our pilots, so it's either Lando or Bardard. I think because the engineer is going, so I guess we'll send Lando. So Lando will leave this in here, and then we'll transfer him to the lander. This is quite lucky because it's quite a big part count at the moment. So that's that. We then do the same for Baramone, who will be going as our resident engineer. And then one of our scientists, who again will not be needing this. So Macfred, looks like Macfred's going because that's the one I randomly picked. So Macfred, get in there. Cool, right, so again, I'd rather use the fuel to like deorbit and then have more fuel in the lander craft than necessarily keep this thing for the purposes of refueling this. I mean, ideally we can do the deorbit burn, then detach everything, and then have this thing flip around and then reorbit itself, maybe, and then we can have it fly around to refuel this at some later point. Yeah, so coming up on 7 PM, which is good. So, so with an hour, hopefully we should again 2 days to the Kerbal to transfer window. So like I think we can probably at least get the landing done in 2 days, even if right. I'm going to undock these because yeah, it's getting quite laggy with all this part count. So I think we have what we need. Let's turn the lights on here. Since there are people inside it now, we have Lando, Baramone, and Macfred in the lander. It's the right lander, and I think we are good to go. Because again, I don't think we need anything else. There's nothing in here nothing in these ones that need transferring across that would suggest we need to do any engineering or anything. So let's try and undock and hope there's no kraken. Right. back away. And close the hatch. Switch to these guys, because these guys are now our primary concern. Let's just rotate to normal and just give us a little nudge so that we end up on a slightly separate orbit to them. Alternatively, let's lower our orbit down to 20 and then we can do our landing from there. So we'll just do a little. We can then point retrogrades that. Okay, oh no, wait, retrograde is not pointing at in the direction that we thought it was. I thought we were going to be retrograding into it, if clearly not. So let's just eyeball our action groups again. I'm pretty sure it's custom 9. Set 1. Cool. So we can do that one. I mean, like, it doesn't really matter because we're going to be ditching pretty much everything, I think. Because I don't want to risk this thing like crashing because we take time to reorbit this. So, yeah, let's lower our orbit down. To about 20 kilometers. Ooh, T's got 2.19. Not so sure about that one. Anyway, let's time up round to our Periapsis and then decide on our landing. So I want to try and land somewhere near one of those small craters. So I'm thinking might have to wait a bit for the right landing zone to come across, because the Moho doesn't really orbit like rotate that fast. So maybe like try get close to the edge of one of these. So the edge of the crater might be a bit maybe somewhere like around this smaller crater. Then maybe we're a drivable. Maybe we're like a drivable distance from another biome. Once this thing goes far enough away, then it'll drop out of physics range, and we should be fine. Because the next time we're actually like joining that will be a lot smaller. Like it'll be a lot fewer parts on this one. And we can decide where we want to try and land. do. Cool, right, so now we decide what we want, like, we actually attempt this landing, so let's just double check what our action group sets are, because they've lost their names, which is kind of annoying. So we'll know by what 10 is, which looks like, yeah, so 10 is, so set 2 is our lander. And this looks like set 1 is our transfer stage, I think. Yeah. Then the other ones are all of our landers. And then 5 does the crew report for the lander. Okay. So you want to switch to this, you want to switch to lander group when we ditched everything. But the question now is, where do we try and land? I'm thinking maybe there, try and land in front, try and land before this crater. So retrograde half of our having said that, it's a 2-minute burn. Well, it's quite a long landing burn. Yeah, so it's gonna take probably about some amount of time to we do want to overshoot a bit. Okay, right. Let's try this. It's either gonna death or glory, right? See if we can keep our record of only 1 Kerbal killed so far. Okay, let's turn on landing mode. And yeah, so yeah, the plan is to have completed this burn by the time we get to our descent point, but hopefully, yeah, we'll see. We'll try and land there, but if we don't land there, we land somewhere. Hopefully. Well, it's a hard mode, so there's only one. Got to try it and try and see. I guess we can. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll do this till our Periapsis is negative. Like so. We do this. We do this. We do that. Because we have plenty of delta V in this stage, so. It looks like it's not going to take as much as we thought. Maybe wrong. Well, I think that's probably good enough. So let's try this out. So let's try staging. What's our TDY like now? Better. Get rid of this. We're gonna. Oh yeah, we just switch this to lander. Hit 0. Set these to automated. We don't need these automated yet because, yeah, hopefully. Okay, it might be. In terms of like overshooting, it's probably going to be. Actually, is that where we're actually landing? I feel like maybe we should focus on. We're at 9 kilometers and we're going quite fast, so okay, we were. Oh, we were very close to our suicide burn countdown. Okay, we do not have landing legs. Why are my landing legs not working? Oh, of course. Yeah, the editor is completely. We're going to be landing without legs. Okay, that's fine. Just bloody typical, isn't it? Just stay. Just. Okay. Well, this is not the like. I mean, that could have gone a lot worse. I mean, yeah, like the fact that the bloody control thing has conveniently forgotten everything about the deployment, about the landing legs. This one's probably completely forgotten about everything. No, it's remembered the storage decoupler, but it has not. For God's sake, like, is it just like docking that screws it? I feel like there's definitely an issue with these robotics parts. Question is, I don't think it's going to be possible to like hook these up to. Having said that, if we can hook these up and extend them all at the same time, the base might be wide enough that we can extend the landing legs as well. But we are down. That is the main thing, and we are down somewhere near a crater. So if we can get this thing out, then great. But we're going to be doing it manually. So let's open the editor because this is just like the best thing. I'll test if we can just do it manually. So we extend these out first. That way we have the widest base when we try again doing this on hard mode is great because it means if I screw it up then okay, no, they're all they are all okay. We can actually control them all together, so I wonder if we can very gingerly rotate our feet down as well. I just want a decent base of like a decent sort of stable base for doing the actual rover deployment. So maybe does this adjust all of them the same? It does. Okay. Maybe it's enough to traverse. Let's turn the traverse rate right down. So the ability to control these axis fields as a group is quite useful. Because I was dreading that we were going to have to like I was dreading that we were going to have to like I was dreading we were going to have to do them like individually, in which case. Okay, that's about straight. But yeah, like the just so the rover deployment's going to be a bitch because that again we had that programmed, it was fine, and then it's just decided it's going to forget the programming, which is amazing. Like, I'm gonna file a bug report about that. Oh yeah, traverse rate. Yeah, traverse rate right down. I want us to be nice and gentle. We managed to land it on the engines, which is something, but yeah, just like... Okay, I think assuming it stabilizes, we have a landing gear out even though we had to deploy it after we landed. But that's definitely definitely worthy of a picky at least. Maybe before we fail to deploy the rover, because well, or everything else automated off. Let's retract these, because these engines aren't going to be firing up again. Actually, we can shut these down. Because this part isn't necessarily coming back with us, because we should have enough. Again, this thing just decides it doesn't have any so yeah, unfortunately this one has remembered the decoupler. It's just not remembered anything else. Rover deployment. Like, why is it not remembered anything else? Like, if we add... yeah, we're going to have to do this manually. Right, so, let's try deploying this. So before we do anything else, we're going to be sending a little scientist friend out to do some science. To hopefully science this rover before we actually try deploying it, because you know deploying it might destroy it. Hopefully not, but you know. So where is our scientist? Let's EVA our scientist and let's turn off landing mode because we ain't gonna need that. We're down, so at the very least we can do science and we can even if we can't deploy the rover, which will be a bit annoying, we've at least got one biome's worth of science. So hopefully, can he actually reach these? He can. Cool, conduct material study. Keep experiment. Collect data. Restore. Can't do that one. Observe mystery goo. You observe the goo. Collect data. More gravity data. Okay, let's restore this. We take this data. We log the pressure data. We take the pressure data. We log the temperature. Keep that. We take this data. And I think that's everything. We do want to get a surface sample and EVA report, but I forget that we need to grab this so that we can... no, we don't. We want this in his inventory so that he can then do this. So we switch back to this. We do our crew report. We grab that report. We go down. Hopefully able to climb through this radiator. Yep. I feel like it's more realistic if we get up. We wander over. We wander around in the regolith. We do our Surface sample, EVA report. This thing continues to very slowly slide. Perform EVA science, which is fine. Cool, so that should be one set of data. We climb back on our very slowly drifting lander. So we'll conclude everything we need to do here, and then try and deploy our rover. We go up here, we store 9 experiments there. We then switch back to this. We transfer this to the other side, like so. So then he can store it back in there again. We do our crew report here. Then we switch back to our resident scientist. He goes up, he grabs the data, goes back down. He interacts with all this stuff. So again, material study, collect, restore, observe the goo, keep, collect, restore, log the pressure data, keep, take, log the gravity data, keep, take, log the temperature, keep, and take. So I think that's all of those. Again, we can't find this. I think I did see a surface feature somewhere around here, so go down. We do our EVA report, our surface sample, our EVA science, turn his lights on. Yeah, that's better. Cool, so I think we've got that stuff, so we grab grab here again, we go up. This is 2 of 3. So we store 9 experiments in that. We'll do it once more to put into the command pod. So we switch back. Crew report. So switch back to our scientist. We take the data. And then we'll store that in a minute. If we can get this thing down, we can then interact with this thing and do 3 sets of that as well. Because at the moment we can't quite reach it to do interaction with it, I don't think. But we can with these, so conduct material study, collect, restore, observe goo, collect, restore, again pressure, take, gravity, take, temperature, take. Looks like we might have stabilized now, but We'll find out. EVA report. Surface sample. EVA science. Cool. So that should be everything. I guess we'll. So we've done most of the science experiments. So we'll reboard. We'll try and deploy the rover with no Kerbals around, so it doesn't, like, hopefully doesn't kill anybody. If we lose the rover, then that's, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah. So let's store these experiments in here. We shove this back in here for now. We shove this back in here for now. Since we don't, that's once per body rather than once per biome, so we don't need to use that again. We'll board. So that's our at least one biome's of science. Again, we'll try and grab this if we can. But now we have to try and let's retract our ladders and let's see if we can manually deploy this. So. Turn this traverse rate down a bit to like 30. Looks like we're going out this way. Which is fine. We then try extend this. Cool. Let's extend these and extend these so we have the wheels down when we actually want them. Traverse rate is really way too high. The question is now, can we lower this down? Okay, I think that's probably going to be as close as we're going to get. Switch to this thing and hopefully, yep. We enable this. Toggle talk. Turn on the brakes. Cool, so the torque control is fine. And let's let this thing drop back down, and we have a successfully deployed rover, which is good. It means we can have hopefully have some fun with it. And then we can work on, we can switch back to this hopefully, and then work on stowing this stuff. So target extension. Let's just bring this back. Target angle. Let's just put it down. Yeah, and I think that'll do. Again, this thing isn't going anywhere. Because in theory, I mean, like, we can try launching with the bottom. I mean, like, we've got the Delta V to do it, so. So we have, let's send our scientists out to grab that seismic data. And let's consider where we are. So it looks like we are minor craters. I have a feeling that this is all one biome. I might be wrong. So I wonder if we drive like away from the crater, we get so that we end up in Midlands, maybe. We want like these things we want to explore. So we're gonna go away from the crater. Because I think we probably landed close enough to the crater that we're actually like in the crater biome, I think. So, but first things we're gonna do is gonna hit 1 again to extend our ladders. We'll send our intrepid scientist, Macfred, out again, who will be going for the glory of the seismic data, which is now safely and hopefully nicely deployed down on the rover. And then we're going to do we will do the deployment of all the tools. We'll get all 3 of them out. We'll do the deployment of all the tools, of all the service deployed science. Wow, no, he has become submerged. Yeah, so we're sinking into the regolith because I've turned off the parallax collisions because they're a little bit buggy. But we do want to go over here, and we do want to log seismic data. Grab that. I'm tempted to store it in there, just. But no, because I mean, in theory, you should be able to store multiple biomes worth of science equipment. But yeah, we've got say 25 to 8, so we've got time to at least do this, and then we can either we're gonna set off on our journey to try to do some even extra science. Yeah, so basically don't use robotics parts in future. So if we store that experiment in there, so there's 10. We switch to this, and then in theory, if we do a data transfer from here to there, then only 1 thing should get transferred. Yeah, so that's now got 9 data in it. We switch back to Macfred. He goes down back to the rover to grab that seismic, juicy seismic data. Always important. Where is my seismometer gone? Again, I'm not sure if the ship is moving or if the ship is moving or if the Kerbal is moving, but something is moving, or it could be it might be the sun, but I don't think it is. So yes, we shall find a spot to stick our deployed science. We will then drop a flag here. I guess we can have a scientist because I think they'll each have a flag. I think. So store the experiments in there. So there's 10 data. There's 10 experiments in there now. And then we must need to stick one in the command module. Actually, hopefully we can get all this done, and because I mean we're still 2 days away from a Kerbal to be transferred, so we might be able to get all this done and back in orbit before we need to worry too much about. Because again, this is all happening in real time, so we've actually got we've got like 12 hours of game time if we want. Right, take it. Cool, so that's all the science experiments for this biome. If we can find another biome, which again I feel like if we drive away from minor craters we might end up in Midlands or something. either that or this entire region is, in which case, like, if we don't get anywhere within a few minutes, then we'll just turn around and drive back. So we come out here. We store our one experiment, and then we will get to work deploying our deployable science. So, notably, that's a science experiment, so we'll stick that in. Can we swap these over? If we can. So we'll have him deploy the science experiment. And again, we'll do it somewhere over like... Right, if we zoom out, our target is somewhere. That's going into the crater, so yeah, basically over there. So yeah, if we do, if we head towards the crater, then we can put it up. We can set up on the crater's edge, basically. He's wading through, we're basically wading through mud. So we'll stick him there, and we will get Lando out. Lando Kerman. He will head on down. He will grab this and replace it with this. Yeah, I think we're definitely sliding because turn the brakes on. Okay. Now we can let go. So here's the control system. He's got one experiment. If we switch back to this, can we... Wait for the autosave. Can we... Is there some space in one of these to... there is. Awesome. So what we'll do is we temporarily store these in here. Stick that in there because that's what we want the engineer to grab. So the question is, do we need someone to be inside this thing to be able to transfer crew, to be able to transfer components? Who knows? Let's EVA Baramone. And we shall find out if we need to get someone back inside in order to do that. We will grab that and pop it in his inventory. We will then see. Oh, there's a piece of debris which we keep switching to. So we'll see if we can now do this, which it looks like we can. So we stick these in there for now. Then we go for this one and this one. We stick these in here. So we just have those ready to deploy. So that's our engineer. This is our thingy. So if we deploy the experiment controls center, and we have our Barrowbone's our engineer, so we have our engineer pop on forwards and drop our first solar panel, so that generates a nice wad of power. Lando Macfred. Macfred will deploy our first experiment, which is the ion collector. Then we send them. Well, that's not a. The dark eyes. He has seen the abyss. We will go back and grab the next science experiment. Which shall be in here. Which will be this one. Good old Seismometer. Should be very useful for determining when we crash things into the surface of Moho. Right, switch to Barrowbone's probably a good one, a good candidate. He can then deploy the next solar panel. We shall have our engine, because I think they should each have a flag. I think so. We'll plant the flag, see if one of them still got a flag, so we can, if we do get to another biome, we can. Okay, there should be one of these in here, which we stick in his inventory. Whilst he's holding on to the thing, we will do the penultimate. No, it's the experiment making a noise. Do the last transfer of things, which is to basically pop this in here. No, we want Barrowbone. He's our engineer. I don't think there's any bonus to an engineer deploying the communications thing. Like, we need the engineer to deploy the solar panels because they generate more energy if he does. Or she, sorry, if she does. I keep misgendering the Kerbals. Sorry. I do appreciate the fact that there's there is like a 50-50 split between male and female Kerbals. I feel like it's because I mean obviously like at least at NASA there were a lot of women involved in the like NASA missions right from the start, but obviously they weren't necessarily the people flying them. Cool. So I think that's the last thing she'll deploy. So she's just gonna hang around and take in the view. Lando, who is our mission commander and pilot, is going to go and grab the communication dish. I'm gonna waddle over here, grab on there. Need to do a jump test at some point. Grab the comm dish, which will now jump nicely into that. Which I guess makes sense if it's nearby the cool, which just leaves one science experiment left to go, which again I think if the scientist deploys it then it generates more science, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll have the I think he is currently empty. We will then grab the ladder. Grab the final piece of cargo. And we'll plop it down here, and then we will cool, that should be everything there. Rename vessel Moho deployed science. Cool, right, so we will switch back to this. We will now shove their jetpacks, their EVA packs back in here because they're gonna want them if we're gonna be going on adventures. It'll be useful for them to have those. Alright, Barrowman will go grab theirs. We'll do a flag plant, photo op, then we will get on board the rover and at least try and drive to the surface feature, even if it doesn't take us out of the biome. Oh, we have walked through the ladder. There. I guess it makes sense to sort of like line ourselves up here. Land it. I wonder how close you have to get before you can. Closer than that, apparently. We are nearing 8 PM. So you'll get your jetpack back. Have you come out here? Macford. Go get your jetpack. We'll have you deploy the flag, and then we will do the photo opportunity. And then, because it is nearing 8 o'clock, I'm thinking what we'll do is, like, we'll do our little drive next time. We'll get these guys back into the command module, where they will chill out. Like, even though like no game time is gonna be occurring, like they'll be chilling out in the thing, having a little break before they do their journey. So what we'll do is we'll have him come up over here, pop our flag around right here. flag. That's a wander off, and I feel like this is probably where the where those deployable lights would come in, but we didn't bring any because so yeah, time for some photo ops. Again, you can't really see their faces, but I guess that's okay. I'll do yeah, 5-2. Like, so the question is, does Lando still have a flag? Yeah, he does. Cool. Well, I was saying we go back into the thing, and we're all like flag possessors again, and then we can go do the exploration. So yeah, we will get these guys back into their. You know, they've done a good job so far. They've been they've braved the very warm surface of Moho. They have taken some initial readings from the original landing site. They've deployed the deployable experiments. It's time to have a little break in the command module. Yeah, a little cup of tea. Yeah, report back to the mothership, the main ship, the Icarus in orbit. And then we'll take the little rover out next time. Yeah, assuming that it doesn't, get crackened when we load back in. There's a risk, but hopefully it'll be fine. Then we'll go for a little drive. They'll seek out that. It also means we get a bit more time to try and try and get out of this biome. See if we can get far enough away from the crater that we're not in the biome anymore. So we'll get back in and back for it. We'll also head on back. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty good session. I mean, like the having to land on the engines because all of our robotics forgot the sequence was fun. So we're probably not gonna make that mistake again. It's gonna be like either, yeah, I guess it would be ideally you'd sort out the landing legs in orbit and then do your landing rather than assuming that they're gonna work. I think we are still like slightly drifting. Yeah, I'm gonna like nudge the rover a little bit further away, just so it's not at risk of yeah. Cool. Right, so I think we will head back to the Space Center for now. And yeah, we'll head back to Space Center, save. We'll conclude this session, and then we will Monday evening. We shall get aboard the little rover, which we will head away from the crater towards this thing, which I think is a surface feature, which that rover arm can examine, and see if we can drive far enough away from here that we because like if we drive a few minutes out this way, we don't get I feel like we're probably close enough to this crater that we're technically in the crater biome. So I feel like if we drive out, we will hopefully end up in the Midlands or something to do some more science. Then we'll drive back. Alternatively, we can try driving into the crater itself. But I mean, it looks very nice it looks very nice with Parallax, I have to say. Even though you do have the collision issues and the fact that like everything's sort of sunk into the thing. That's because I've chosen to turn the collisions off because they're a little bit buggy at the moment, as you would have seen on the Mun when we landed the first version of this lander. Anyway, Space Center we go for now. bit hair raising, but ultimately I think a successful flight. We didn't get a chance to refuel the main ship from the lander, but then that was a distinct possibility. But yeah, so we will save the game, and we will quit to the main menu. And we still have time to. Oh, I was going to check. I was going to check if we had the Duna comsat, which I forgot to check. But yeah, we'll say we either do or we don't. And to be fair, like I'm not too fussed about taking time to design exactly what we actually want to send to Eve and Gilly, because I was basically like a bit cautious of taking the time now because I wanted to try and do the Moho landing tonight. Rather than doing it. Yeah, I wanted to try and do the Moho landing tonight rather than sort of doing even more prep work for another interplanetary mission because it's been mostly prep work so far. So we have finally landed on Moho, which has been a success. Again, apart from a couple of hiccups, but we managed to pull through. And yeah, we haven't the rover. The lander didn't tip over, even though it was very tall and had a very narrow base when it landed. I think having the SAS configured to point at radial up means that it's always trying to stop tipping. Otherwise, you're trying to do it manually and it's almost impossible. But yeah, no, so that's a successful success. We will hopefully do the little drive on Moho's surface next time. Try and see if we can get another biomes over science. We will then attempt to take off from Moho, and then hopefully the issue with the game not thinking we have any Delta V or TWR in the upper stage when we should do because of those engines. Yeah, should be fine. But yeah, I think I'll call it there. So thank you for joining me. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, etc., etc. And yeah, so next one should be Monday at 7 PM to 9 PM will be the next stream, which again will conclude Moho. If we get time, we'll go as far as concluding the Moho landing, getting back into orbit, docking with the mothership again, getting everyone back on board the mothership, which will then leave in orbit, and then subsequently try and refuel and as much as we can. And if we get time after that, then we'll look at sending something to Eve, take advantage of that transfer window because we still have time. But yeah, so again, thanks for joining me. Cheerio.